Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics: The Young and the Restless spoilers. Kane Ashby had approached the hack with meticulous planning. Confident in his ability to manipulate both technology and talent to achieve his goal, he knew the city's corporations, their weaknesses, and the ambitions that propelled each executive forward. More importantly, he knew Phyllis Summers, a woman of undeniable skill and resourcefulness, whose talents in digital infiltration were matched only by her desire to prove herself. Kane had relied on her expertise to access the inner workings of Jabbo, Newman Enterprises, and Chancellor Industries, expecting that the information she retrieved could become leverage in his bid to secure influence across the city's most powerful empires. He envisioned a precise, clean operation. Phyllis would breach the servers, gather strategic data, and Kane would exploit it to tilt the balance of power in his favor. It seemed foolproof, or at least it should have been. But Y&R's spoilers revealed that no plan survives contact with reality, and Kane's meticulously crafted strategy unraveled almost immediately. Phyllis, though exceptionally skilled, could not escape the inevitabilities of human oversight and digital traceability. She accessed the systems with precision, navigating through firewalls and encrypted gateways with ease. But every keystroke left an echo, every log and a breadcrumb, every alteration a potential alarm. Kane had underestimated the vigilance of those protecting the corporate fortresses of Genoa City, and Phyllis had unknowingly stepped into a storm she was not fully prepared to weather. The failure became evident as Victor Newman, ever vigilant and fiercely protective of his empire, detected the intrusion. His instincts were impeccable, even without waiting for a full report. He knew that a breach had occurred. The signs were subtle, yet undeniable. Unusual traffic in the server logs, access attempts outside standard hours, and minor inconsistencies in internal systems. Victor's mind raced with possibilities. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates. Who could have orchestrated this? How deep did the intrusion go? And most importantly, who within his own circle, or Kane's, could have been so bold, so reckless as to attempt such a move? Jack Abbott's experience mirrored Victor's urgency. Alerts from Jabbo's SIT team had reached him moments after anomalies were first detected. He was immediately apprised of the potential threat. Someone had infiltrated their systems, and the ramifications could be devastating if the attack succeeded. Jack's mind toggled between suspicion and strategy, calculating the likelihood of sabotage, corporate espionage, or personal vendettas. With every moment that passed, the tension in the boardrooms and offices of the Abbott family tightened like a noose, reminding everyone that in Genoa City, no action existed in isolation. Phyllis herself felt the weight of the operation as it began to falter. She had accepted Kane's request, not merely for the financial gain it promised, but for the opportunity to affirm her own worth, to prove that she could operate at the highest level of cunning and precision. She had imagined herself as a linchpin in a grand design, a vital force whose talents would command recognition and respect. Yet the reality was humbling. She realized that even the most brilliant execution could fail when opposed by equally sharp minds, and that ambition alone could not guarantee success. Every alert, every detection reminded her that Kane's plan had always carried inherent risks. Risks that she now faced squarely exposed to the scrutiny of men who would tolerate no mistakes. Kane, upon learning of the failure, experienced a cold sinking realization. His confidence, built on careful calculation and trust in Phyllis's skill, now collided with the stark truth of human unpredictability. The breach had been discovered, and with discovery came consequence. He had sought power and leverage. Instead, he now confronted exposure and the intricate intertwined reactions of Victor and Jack. Each would respond with strategy and force, both vigilant and unforgiving, ensuring that the ramifications of the failed hack would reverberate far beyond the immediate failure of technology. Victor's response was immediate and precise. He convened his inner circle, directing his IT specialists to identify every trace of the intrusion, secure vulnerabilities, and track the source with relentless scrutiny. Every log, every anomaly, every digital footprint became a thread to follow, a puzzle to solve. For Victor, the breach was not just a technical problem, it was a challenge to his authority, a potential threat to the stability of his empire, and a test of his ability to anticipate betrayal, whether from outside forces or from those who had once been allies. Jack, for his part, marshaled the resources of Jabbo's SIT division with equal intensity. He was determined not only to respond to the attack, but to understand its origin, its method, and its potential implications. The Abbott family's interests were at stake, and Jack could not tolerate ambiguity. The knowledge that Cain Ashby had orchestrated the request, however, indirectly, through Phyllis, added layers of complexity. Cain's presence in Genoa City had already stirred tensions, and this digital failure intensified the scrutiny on him, marking him as a figure whose actions could no longer go unnoticed or unchecked. Meanwhile, Phyllis processed the fallout in quiet isolation. She understood the stakes. Her reputation, her competence, and even her own safety in certain social and corporate circles were now intertwined with a plan that had collapsed. The failure forced introspection, a recognition of limits and vulnerabilities, and perhaps a reconsideration of her alignment with Cain. Could she continue to serve him in future operations? Or had this failure permanently shifted the balance of trust? Questions lingered, but answers were elusive in the chaotic swirl of corporate maneuvering, emotional entanglement, and personal ambition that defined Genoa City. As the dust settled on the initial failure, the broader implications became evident. Cain's plan had not only failed, it had drawn attention, exposed intentions, and initiated a chain reaction of vigilance, suspicion, and strategy across the city's major power players. Every move from this point forward would be weighed against the memory of the breach, every alliance tested, every plan measured for risk. Cain had entered a delicate web of influence and danger, one in which one misstep could have cascading consequences affecting relationships, corporate strategies, and personal loyalties alike. In the midst of this unfolding drama, the city itself seemed to hold its breath. Genoa City, always a nexus of ambition, passion, and rivalry, now observed a delicate tension where technological failure collided with human intrigue. Cain's ambitions, Phyllis's skills, Victor's vigilance, and Jack's determination formed the axis of an unfolding narrative in which power, trust, and deception would shape not only corporate outcomes, but also the personal lives of everyone involved. One thing was certain: in Genoa City, failure was never final, but it was always consequential, and Cain Ashby, navigating the fallout of his own miscalculations, would have to reckon with every consequence, every threat, and every opportunity that emerged from the shadow of a plan gone awry. Cain Ashby found himself at the center of a storm he could neither predict nor control, aware that every plan, every calculation, and every sense of control could collapse in an instant. The hacking scheme had failed spectacularly, but the fallout was spreading at a frightening pace. Jack Abbott and Victor Newman, both masters of strategy and intuition, immediately identified the hacker. Every data trail, every server log, every flicker of unauthorized access was analyzed, and within hours, the culprit was clear: Phyllis Summers. It did not take long for them to realize she was the one behind the screen. Both Jack and Victor knew Phyllis's extraordinary skill set, understanding that she could manipulate systems with precision and intelligence few could match. In this case, nothing remained hidden, and the evidence was irrefutable. Word reached the IT departments of all three companies, and inevitably, law enforcement would soon be involved, preparing for an arrest that had fans on the edge of their seats. The traces of the hack led directly to Phyllis, like an unbreakable thread pulling her fate into view. She had logged into a major corporate server from her own computer, leaving digital fingerprints that even the most skilled cyberspecialists could not ignore. Jack and Victor, though operating from different agendas, both recognized the reality. Phyllis was a formidable hacker, capable and determined. They understood Cain as well, a man of cunning intelligence, but he had never demonstrated the ability to infiltrate the complex systems of a corporation. Phyllis, with her technical mastery and ambition, had taken the perfect opportunity, and now all eyes were on her. When law enforcement arrived arresting Phyllis, tension rippled through Genoa City. Onlookers, employees, and even those watching from afar felt the weight of the moment. Phyllis's expression betrayed a mixture of determination and unease. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. She could only wonder how Cain would respond. Would he be furious, disappointed, or perhaps in some unexpected way protective as he had been in previous dangerous situations? Cain, observing from a distance, maintained a calm facade, feigning ignorance. He acted shocked, bewildered by the rapid developments that Victor and Jack were quick to exploit. To the public, Cain appeared to be an unwitting participant, dragged into chaos through no fault of his own. Only he knew the truth. Phyllis had acted without his instruction. He had never requested anyone to breach any system, let alone orchestrate such a brazen attack. Cain had always believed in winning through intellect and strategy, not through clandestine sabotage. Now, the illusion of innocence became his shield. Chancellor Industries, Jabbo, and Newman Enterprises suddenly became the epicenter of a corporate maelstrom. Each company scrambled to assess the damage, with Jack and Victor leading security measures and tracing every digital footprint. Every email, every access log, every command entered into the system was scrutinized. And every discovery gave rise to new theories. Relationships between the companies tightened with tension because everyone knew that the secrets revealed or hidden could tip the balance of power. A pressing question lingered over Genoa City. Would Phyllis face the full force of the law? Or would a twist save her from legal consequences? Fans were holding their breath, watching Victor's cold calculation, Jack's wary vigilance, the law enforcement steps, and Cain's subtle, calculating reactions. It was as though every chess piece had been set on a board where each move carried profound implications and every misstep could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, Cain remained outwardly composed, though inwardly he was meticulously plotting his next moves. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. He needed to protect Phyllis, at least to preserve his own image, and he had to prepare for any eventuality. Victor could strike directly. Jack could demand legal intervention. And the secrets of Cain's corporate strategy, if exposed, could ruin him instantly. Every decision now required precision, for even the smallest miscalculation could cost him control in a city where power, loyalty, and ambition constantly collided. As the weeks progressed, tensions escalated further. Cain, ever the strategist, realized that his position in Genoa City was precarious. The failed hack was only the beginning. Victor Newman's relentless pursuit of control, Jack Abbott's vigilance, and Phyllis's own complex loyalties meant that Cain was navigating a minefield, where one wrong move could destroy everything he had built. And yet, amid the corporate chaos and the looming threat of betrayal, Cain remained calculated, determined to maintain his advantage while keeping his true intentions hidden. Every fan watching knew that this story was far from over. Phyllis' arrest, the interplay between Victor and Jack, Cain's cunning responses, all were part of a much larger game. Who would control the outcome and who would be forced to react? Cain's intellect and Phyllis's skills had created a perfect storm of intrigue, and the consequences would ripple through Genoa City in ways no one could fully anticipate. Every glance, every conversation, every secret revealed was a move in a high-stakes game of power, manipulation, and survival. One that could redefine the relationships and fortunes of all involved. And as the city braced for the next chapter, one truth was undeniable. In Genoa City, loyalty was fragile, ambition was dangerous, and even the smartest could be caught in a web of consequences they had never fully imagined. Cain Ashby, with his mind as sharp as ever, had to navigate this chaos carefully, for the next few moves would determine who would triumph and who would fall. The video transcript reveals a tense and intricate storyline centered around a failed corporate hacking attempt in Genoa City, involving key players Cain Ashby, Phyllis Summers, Victor Newman, and Jack Abbott. Cain, a cunning strategist, orchestrates a digital infiltration plan aimed at extracting sensitive information from the city's most powerful corporations, Jabbo, Newman Enterprises, and Chancellor Industries. He enlists Phyllis Summers, a highly skilled hacker eager to prove her worth, to breach these corporate systems and secure leverage for Cain's ambitions. Despite meticulous planning, the operation quickly unravels when Victor Newman's vigilance detects unusual activity. Victor and Jack Abbott, heads of their respective corporate empires, react swiftly and decisively, mobilizing their IT teams to trace the breach. Phyllis's digital footprints are identified, leading to her arrest and exposing the depth of the attack. Cain publicly distances himself from the hack, feigning ignorance and portraying himself as an unwitting victim, though he privately struggles with the fallout and the precarious position he now occupies. The failed hack sparks intense corporate scrutiny, heightening tensions among Genoa City's most influential figures. As the legal and corporate battles intensify, Cain must carefully manage the shifting alliances, protect his interests, and plan his next moves in a high-stakes game of power and survival. The story underscores themes of ambition, betrayal, and the fragility of loyalty within a cutthroat corporate environment, setting the stage for ongoing intrigue and conflict. Cain Ashby devises a high-stakes hacking plan targeting Genoa City's top corporations. Phyllis Summers, a talented hacker, is recruited to execute the digital infiltration. Victor Newman and Jack Abbott quickly detect and respond to the cyber attack. Phyllis's hacking traces lead to her arrest, exposing the operation. Kane publicly distances himself from the hack, maintaining a facade of innocence. The failed hack escalates corporate tensions and rivalry within Genoa City. The unfolding drama highlights the dangerous interplay of ambition, trust, and deception. The complexity of cyber espionage in corporate power struggles. Kane Ashby's plan illustrates how digital warfare has become an essential, albeit risky, tool in modern corporate conflicts. The attempt to hack into multiple top-tier corporations simultaneously reveals the lengths to which power players will go to gain leverage, but also demonstrates the inherent vulnerabilities and unpredictability of such operations. The story reflects the high stakes of cyber espionage, where a single misstep can unravel entire strategies and provoke severe repercussions. Phyllis Summers as a symbol of ambition and vulnerability. Phyllis embodies the dual nature of ambition, drives skillful execution but also exposes individuals to significant risk. Her desire to prove her competence leads her to take bold actions that, while technically adept, fail to anticipate the sophisticated defenses in place. This highlights the human element in cyber operations. Even the most talented individuals are fallible, and ambition alone does not guarantee success. Her arrest symbolizes the tangible consequences of overreaching in a world dominated by stealth and surveillance. Victor Newman and Jack Abbott's vigilance as corporate guardians. The swift and coordinated response from Victor and Jack underscores the importance of vigilance and preparedness in protecting corporate assets. Their ability to detect subtle anomalies reflects deep experience and intuition, suggesting that technology alone cannot secure an empire without human insight. Their cooperation, despite rivalry, points to a shared interest in maintaining control and stability, illustrating how threats can sometimes unite even the most competitive players. Kane Ashby's strategic use of public perception. Kane's decision to feign ignorance and portray himself as an unwitting participant reveals a sophisticated understanding of public relations and legal strategy. By distancing himself from the hack, he seeks to shield his reputation and buy time to recalibrate his approach. This tactic highlights how in high-stakes corporate battles, managing narratives is as critical as managing actions. Controlling perception can mitigate damage even when internal realities are precarious. The fragility of trust in high environments. The fallout from the hack exposes how fragile alliances and loyalties are within Genoa City's power structures. Kane's miscalculation results in a loss of trust, not only between himself and his operatives like Phyllis, but also among the broader corporate and social networks. This breakdown of trust complicates future collaborations and raises the stakes for every subsequent move, reflecting the delicate balance between cooperation and competition in elite circles. The chess-like nature of corporate rivalries. The entire narrative is framed as a strategic game where each character's moves carry profound consequences. Kane's initial plan, Phyllis's execution, Victor and Jack's responses, and the impending legal actions form a complex interplay reminiscent of chess, where foresight, deception, and countermoves determine survival and dominance. This metaphor emphasizes the intellectual rigor and emotional intensity underlying corporate power struggles, where one misstep can lead to checkmate. The broader implications of technology-driven conflict, beyond the immediate storyline. The hack and its consequences illustrate the evolving landscape of corporate conflict in an increasingly digital world. The vulnerability of major corporations to cyber attacks raises questions about security protocols, ethical boundaries, and the role of law enforcement. It also signals a shift in how power is contested, not just through traditional business maneuvers but through technological prowess and information control, marking a new frontier in corporate warfare. This detailed summary highlights and key insights provide a comprehensive understanding of the dramatic events and underlying themes in the narrative, offering viewers a rich perspective on the complex dynamics at play in Genoa City's corporate and personal intrigues.